I say that it's Jamie here.
Hello. I heard Jamie earlier. You're here
Okay.
later. All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right. There we go. Welcome back, everybody. If you just happened to be here earlier when we were doing our a little chit chat, having some fun times. It was a lot of fun. But now we're gonna play some Isles of Iverion, which hopefully is fun. Hopefully I'm not dying this time. I feel better. However, I am having some issues dealing with some air because I ate this pizza really fast, so I might be a little burpy. If that's the case, I promise I'll mute myself because I'm very sorry. That's rude. Take some water. I'm having some real issues from this. Alright, but regardless, I'm very high energy. I don't know if you all can tell the difference from yesterday starting and today starting, but I'm pretty ship shape right now. Thank you for the F, by the way. I appreciate that. So, no need to dilly-dally here. Let's get right into it. But first, because I love it so much, let's roll that intro.
Love that you sing it.
And we are back. Hello. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and dive right in. So, last we had left off so very, very long ago in the ether realms of time known as yesterday, when we had left the group of adventurers known as the Isles of Iverion. The Troop of 12, as the animation calls them. That name's going to change sometime soon, hopefully. They had begun their adventure on the seas of the Giant's Eye. Sailing around Iverion in a hope to find these different cultists and ruins associated with the Doubt, hoping to find some connection between them and what is happening here. And what is happening with this cult. The ruins of House Markle, these individuals who want to bring back the rule of the long-dead House of Iverion, hoping to bring back chaos and undeath to the land. The party, being living, obviously has a big problem with that. So they have taken it upon themselves, along with the monetary incentive from House Bartold, one of the three main houses on the Giant's Isle, the island where they started at. They've decided to take matters into their own hands and try and solve this for the good of the people. So, first thing that they did was they were given a ship and a crew, the Southern Star, captained by Captain Heather Stott. What a man. He's so cool. He's got a wooden arm that shoots stuff out of it. He's the coolest guy around. Not as cool as Nalfian, though. I'll make that distinction right now. But they're on his ship. They are exploring with him as they've been cruising and sailing throughout the Isles of Iverion. They learn that the isles here, the islands themselves, are magical, where sometimes they will sink beneath the surface and reappear elsewhere. So no two islands are ever the same, and they're always in random space. So that provides some spontaneity and chaos to this isles, or to the sea here. So after exploring one of the islands, the party is good for now because it seems as though it's caused them some issues. But luckily they moved past it, they got back on the boat, and now they are so close to Raven Rock, only 2 days' journey away before they're able to dock, get off, and start to investigate this snake in the grass and what ruins may be nearby that belonged to the Dowie long ago. But before they can do that, they have one final roadblock in front of them. On the distance, they saw them approach. The Horned Corsairs. The party didn't know much about them aside from the ones that they were the ones who sunk the ship that belonged to the Four Horsemen, the pirates they encountered on that island. But the Horned Corsairs are cultists of a sort, dedicated to a horned god. the most devout followers of that cult go through a horrific process to be transformed into minotaurs. So, as those two ships approach, flanking each side, Captain Heather Scott comes to U5 and says, you five are going on that ship. Me and 4 others are going on that ship. We're going to parley. We're going to talk for as long as we need to until you see the signal. Talk. Once you get the signal, whatever it may be, cause as much havoc, and then we're getting the fuck out of here. Because these Minotaurs mean business. The Horned Corsairs are demented. So, you have your orders, you know that you are waiting for the signal, and with that, you begin to make your way across the gangplank. The word I couldn't remember yesterday because I just said wooden board that is put in between the two things. So, walking across the gangplank to their ship, you can see that there are 3 Minotaurs on the ship, along with 8 other crewmates, at least on the deck. You don't know what's below deck on any of these levels, but you at least know there are 8 people, 3 Minotaurs, for a total of 11. And there are currently 4 of you, a Shadow, and Izzy trying to toy with the rudder chain. So, with that, we're going to go ahead and pick up right where we left off.
Hey, Joe, super quick question.
Yeah.
Is our boat staying, like, parallel with their boats? So, like, for example, are we sandwiched in between their 2 boats right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so your boat, so theirs is pointing the way that it is right here.
Correct.
But your boat is pointing the opposite direction because all of you were headed towards Raven Rock and they were coming towards you.
Got it. I was just making sure we were able to get back to our own boat when shit hits the fan.
So let me draw like a little arrow here. So your boat is right here and it is pointing this direction.
Thank you.
That is a terrible color to do it in. It's very not visible.
That's okay, I got it.
Alright, so...
Can I make one request as we're walking across the gangplank?
Of course, yeah, sure.
Grok would say to the group, right, you hear the word fucking banana, go mental.
Oh, now
Banana means burn.
Okay.
Alrighty, so with that, all of you begin to... Oh, thank you for the ship drawing. I appreciate that. All of you begin to make your way across the gangplank, eventually on the ship. You can see that larger Minotaur than the other 2 near the bow of the ship, all the way back at the stern, seemingly the captain. White pelt and fur, almost bluish white skin, along with these tattoos that cover his entire body, and these curled ram horns that swirl around at the top of his face that almost look to be capped in snow. He moves away from the wheel, and you can see a crewman sheepishly approach the wheel and grab onto it, just sort of trying to avert his eye contact from this Minotaur pirate captain. And you see him stomp, each footfall causing almost like the ground beneath you to shake a little bit. Some of you aren't sure if that's literally the physical ground or yourself shaking in some cases. But it's definitely not helping. So, he begins to approach, and you can see him make his way down the stairs and center himself facing you, standing right in line with you, double the size of you. No
Just
weapons in his hand right now. Yeah, what was that?
I'm gonna try and get guidance on Grok before it gets too close.
Okay, fine. So just as it's right there, you can very easily grab onto him. And I'd say no sleight of hand check necessary. They're really focused on Nalthian, Grok, and especially the Shadow. The crewmates are focused on the Shadow of Nalthian. Like, they are completely distracted. So you can get that guidance. So Grok, you get that D4, which is nice. And the Minotaur approaches. And he says, I am Captain Pasatu. What
purpose do you have sailing these waters?
Oh, listen, mate. We were just passing through after getting off some island. We're just going through to Raven Rock. Me and my pal here picked up these two back on some island. Coincidentally, same island you fucking sank some soft lab pirates on, some horsemen lot. Was that you?
Seems to smile a little bit.
That was us. Yes. We sunk them. So you said you got two on the island.
Aye. These well, not like me. We've got a little one, and we've got this, what are you? A wood elf. He turns to Eurydice.
She just looks very scared. And she's trying to direct him in such a way that she's like scared of Grok. But she's fucking terrified of the Minotaur. She just nods.
Yeah, a wood elf. They figured, you know, they had respite on the ship, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I've sailed the waters. I've heard of you lot. I know you're reasonable. Figured me and my pal here couldn't strike up a deal, you know.
Rock, go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Give me 2 seconds.
No, you're good. You're good. Remember, you got that D4 with guidance.
Fuck yeah.
Do you want to use the
Man
guidance?
doesn't even need it.
Yeah, I will use it because I don't want it to run out, just in case.
Yeah, it's only there for a minute, so.
25. That's really good. See him kind of inhale. And slowly he makes his way past. And you can see this one gentleman right here, who's kind of standing in the way, staring at you, Brock. Just, you can't really see much of his face, just that large, like, metal cowl that he has covering his face. And he doesn't see the captain approaching behind. And you see the captain just sort of grab on to his crewmate's head. And the guy, and he just squishes the guy's head in the metal. And you see that guy just drop dead, fall over to the ground. And he makes his way past.
My God.
To you, Grok. Right in front of you and Nalfian.
Do you know what I do to be
Tommy.
get in my way?
I've got a pretty fucking good idea, mate. Aye.
Let me see them.
Alright. Now, listen. Hands off the merchandise until we get a deal. No touching.
I like you so fine.
It's parlay, mate. So, right. Go on. Have your luck.
Steps around, stretched right in front of you two. So now, Twig, Eurydice, he's standing right in front of you, and he is not observing any type of personal boundary. He just sort of squats down a little bit, and so his nose and his muzzle is just right in front of each one of your faces, and just exhales in your face, and you can feel the temperature difference between his breath. It almost causes, like, you can feel just moisture fleck onto your cheeks as he does that to you, Twig. And then goes over to you, Eurydice. And he smiles a little bit, looking at you, Felicity. Or, at you, Eurydice. And turns to you, Grok.
This one is magic.
Like I said, we got him on the island. I don't know if the horseman had him, but you know, washed up. We figured stop off, have a look, and wouldn't you know, lucky day. Me and my pal here, we've got a handle on these sorts of things, haven't we, now?
Indeed, we do.
And you see him kind of squint looking at the shadow.
Does he speak?
Oh, don't worry. That's mine. And Nalfion will speak, but the shadow will smile.
You may keep the little one. She is good enough for your ship's passage in these waters.
Right, and the whole way to Raven Rock.
Said Kennycock.
Because don't get me wrong, I'm not new to these waters, man. I know how long this passage lasts. You might give us free passage for 2 leagues, and then you come back around. Don't be a cheeky with me, lad.
Make another persuasion check. I'll say this one with advantage, because that you're already on his side.
Oof.
Still have that guidance. This will probably be the last one you have guidance on.
I mean, guidance should only last once.
Oh, I thought it was just a minute.
It lasts for a minute until used.
Oh, okay. Okay. And he sort of shoots you a glance, Grok, and he says,
Well, then if that's the case, we'll take her. But for now, you're just taking my word. Remember, don't get in my way.
No, don't you worry about that, lad. Not in your way. Neither's our ship, like I said. We're going the other way. Just happened to cross into you lot. Like I said, I mean, you know, trust me, we've seen your handiwork. What you got? How many cannons on this ship? And Grok's looking around, just trying to like stall for as long as he needs. Fucking hell, how many cannons is on this?
see him just kind of sniff at you, Grok, and then begin to make his way away from the 4 of you. Turn back around, look over his shoulder, and look to the 2 Minotaurs who were in the very bow of the ship.
You two, grab her. And the rest of you, let them back on their boat.
So you can see the other guards, or the other crewmates on the ship, they back up, moving away from the group of you. And you can see him move back towards the bow, or the stern of the ship, back towards the captain's wheel. And the other 2 Minotaurs, they begin to move forward.
Nalfion is like shooting a look to Grok.
Grok will stand in front of Unity and say, how much? Because we've got another one on the ship. Some wizard sap. Because, you know, trust me, while they're still hiding on the ship, I'm not above making a deal, like. I mean, you know, I'm not sure if you see my tattoos, but, you know, I'm not new to these waters, man.
Make a deception check. So, the two Minotaurs approach, and after you say that, he raises up his hand gestures for them to stop, and he says,
Are you lying to
About which part? Because I got a wizard on the ship. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, mate. As he says that, he'll stand in front of Eurydice and Twig again. Listen, mate, I'm a fucking pirate. What do you expect? I'm not gonna play all my fucking cards, am I? You can't expect me to be honest. I'm a fucking pirate, mate.
still just approaching you slowly.
Eurydice is going to hit Grok and say, "How fucking dare you? We trusted you. I trusted you. Picked us up on that fucking island. You said that you would actually take care of us and nothing bad was going to happen."
Now, Anelfian's gonna like quickly brandish his dagger and like cup Eurydice's mouth and put it to her throat.
Eurydice, make a deception check with advantage.
With advantage, yeah. We put on a chill, bitch.
We do, boy. Oh boy.
Thank God for advantage.
Anelfian's just gonna say, you see this one, she likes to run her mouth a little too much. And he's just gonna hold Eurydice and really put his hand over her fucking mouth.
That is good. Baphomet likes to be feisty.
And he stops, and he begins to move back. And then as he gets about halfway up the stairs, there is this eerie silence where the Minotaurs stop, and you can see both of them kind of cock their heads around and sniff. And about that moment where you all clock that they do that, you hear these two massive come from the other ship on the other side, the Southern Star. So you can hear the explosions happen. What is everybody doing?
Great, I'm throwing my bomb right this way.
And I'm gonna throw it at the Minotaur and say, "Think bash, you big fucking nana."
I'm scorching raying the fucking mast and sail.
And as you can see, I roll a nat 20 on fucking up the rudder.
Oh my
Oh, shit, man. Yeah. And what are you choosing? What said?
Since I'm underwater and it's got gears and stuff, I'm going acid. I'm gonna try to break as much crap as I can with that.
Fuck yeah, alrighty. So you do, Brock, you light the one, you throw it, and see if he catches it. Just as a... yeah, he catches it as an instinct. And then... just as an instinct. And the... let's see, okay. Let me see. 30-foot radius. Where were you throwing it again, Malfian?
His goal is here.
Okay.
Like mast and capstan.
Yeah. Just, fuck yes. Just out of range, baby!
Oh my god, yeah,
And Nelfian literally Nelfian is going to, like, turn his body so he is, if any of the fucking damage hits him, it's hitting him and not Twig and Eurydice.
Okay, alrighty. So, you toss the one black powder bomb, and then you toss the other one. I would like, Nalfian, I'd like you and Grok to each roll 10d10.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shit.
also just throwing scorching ray at the same time. I'm trying to
Yes.
hit the mast and the sail right by us.
Okay, go ahead and roll 3 attacks for me real quick, just to see how, like, accurate it is. Okay. Cool. And then roll your damage for those. Oh!
Oh, boy!
Okay. And then, Grok, go ahead and roll your 10d10.
Oh, I did.
Oh, you did?
75.
Oh, yeah, okay, it's up there. Okay, alright. Okay. Well, that's nasty. Alrighty, so let's see. We got that. Rotor chain. Okay. All right. Let me make the deck saves for these guys. Actually, for these three, it does not matter. They're donezo. These crewmates here.
Which one?
Absolutely incinerated. And then let's see the deck saves for the Minotaurs. If that matters more. That's
These ones, Joe?
Yeah, the two.
Oh, I saw. Oh, fucking look at the wrong way. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. Okay, so then that is two natural ones. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay, alrighty, so let's see, that was 62. And so you can see that as you toss those bombs their way, that for one, you can hear the capstans just snap from the fire and flap and tear open, completely sent to smolder and ruin, and you could hear the descent of chains like rapidly falling, and then eventually the ship gets heaved forward as the two anchors, they don't actually hit any ground, it just begins to yank the front of the ship forward. You can see the stern of the ship begin to raise out of the water slightly, and then slam back down as there is this massive amount of energy that is just sort of shifted around this entire area. So along with that, because of the fire damage, I'm going to go ahead and say that these two, they're not dead. They are damn near close with the 62 points of fire damage. But they are definitely not prone right now. Because they just kind of fall over with the combination of the explosion and the fire and the ship rocking. They're definitely not prone. This guy right here, the captain, what was it, 75 points of... Damn, 75 points of fire damage. Okay, and he gets to make his deck save with his advantage because he literally has it in his hand.
Does he lose fingers because it's like a firecracker in his hand?
Well, failing the deck saving throw, he sure does.
He's losing more than fingers.
Also, if there's no music playing for you guys, then you should refresh the page, see if that works. Yeah, just because I know it wasn't working for me earlier, but I just had to make sure I was on the page. Okay, so 75 points of fire damage. That's a failure. Holy shit. Okay, so Brock, you can see that he is just like the explosion consumes him almost entirely and actually sends him off the edge of the ship. He is just sent into the water and just. And you see a few air bubbles as you're beginning to make your way off, but then eventually you see no more air bubbles. He is just sent underneath the water and is nowhere to be seen now. So he into the water, and the only thing you do see, Grok, is you can see that he's missing about all 5 of his fingers on the hand that he caught it in. And one of the horns is cracked and broken off, and there's currently some blood spilling out of it. Okay. So, with that, there is enough destruction caused here. You can see that the 4 crewmates who are still there, they do start to run at you. What are all of you doing? Oh, Eurydice. So you can see. Sorry. So Eurydice, you shoot up the scorching ray, sending all 3 of those different beams up into the air. It cuts through a majority of the sails, tearing them apart so they barely are catching any wind. And then each one, you try and make sure that you're heading into the mast. Right at the far mast, all the way near the bow of the ship, you can see that that small mast you are able to, with, what's that, 25 points of fire damage? Yeah, 25 points of fire damage. You are able to cut through it enough where it does begin to, the wood begins to moan and then snap, crack, and fall down on the bow of the ship. And with that final heave of wood slamming down on top of everything else that's happening, you can hear there is some internal pressure and some creaking of wood very far beneath your feet on the lower levels of the deck, and you can hear as wood is beginning to bend from the amount of force and pressure that's been put here, and you're not sure if it's going to pop, but there's a good chance that it might. So what are you guys doing? The ship is heaving.
Yeah.
See this
Nalfian is literally pushing the ladies to get back to the ship.
Grok is going to stand in front of him here to block this guy and say, "Get the fuck off!"
Yeah, nothing's like pushing them, literally.
Did
We're
the
going.
rudder break?
Let's go.
Joe,
Oh,
did the rudder break?
Oh yeah, as you hit it with what was that? 20 something.
It's 34 total following your crit rolls.
Yeah, 34 points of damage. You shoot it into, and there's a small you can see like that small hole where the chain is coming out of. You fire it directly into there, and you can just hear the metal begin to melt and then snap. And Brock, even though the wheel is like halfway destroyed, you can see it up there just begin to spin rapidly, as there's nothing stopping the wheel from moving. There's no tension there. It just begins to rapidly spin. You can see this guy over here make his way over, and he can't stop it. And there's a few more that try and come over. All three of them do run over to try and stop the wheel.
And then I move towards the ship.
Okay. You make your way towards the ship. Easy enough. You're able to get to the ladder. Okay.
Oh, am I? Sweet.
Yeah, you're able to get to the ladder. Chili.
Come on, let's go.
Chili, wait a minute. So, Izzy, as you begin to swim,
Yeah, because I can only go 15 feet in water.
Well, that's the thing. As you are swimming, after you get maybe 45 feet, we'll say right there, right as you're about to be back on the ship, you feel something grab your leg. As you look down and look back, the Minotaur, like, blood pooling all around him, escaping from his hand. You can see the other hand that he's not grabbing with you is just leaking blood. His face is, like, smoldered and burned, and he's gripping onto you. But we're going to come back to you in 1 second, okay? So, Rock, you are pushing in the way of that man. Twig and Nalf, you guys are getting off as well.
Nalf is gonna wait till they're off. Shadow Nalf is like blocking this path just in case any of them try to come down.
Eurydice's gonna make sure Twig gets off first, and whilst they're doing that, she's gonna throw another produce flame up here where they all are.
Okay, already sounds good. Drop produce flame.
She's got a book with her, so.
Also, since I can like pretty much get onto the ship, would I be able to see like what's happening with like the Minotaur and Izzy? Because I imagine it's not like, exactly like quiet if they're like splashing around.
Real quick. Okay, actually, by the way, Eurydice, that does hit, so go ahead and roll damage.
It's 1d8, so.
Okay. So, also, Twig, as you are looking down, I'm pretty sure your passive perception is pretty good.
Yeah, 15.
Yeah, oh yeah, 15. You can definitely see, because you can see Izzy, like, swimming on the surface, and then you can see her rip down, and on the surface, it's broad daylight, you can see the big blue form of that Minotaur. But we'll come back to you in just a second. So, Eurydice, you throw Produce Flame on them. 7 points of fire damage. They all sort of run away from that from that mast, because right, it's a 10-foot radius.
Yeah, it's right where the wheel is, and kind of just like around here, this area.
Yeah, okay. So they all see the wheel kind of erupt in flame, all similar, taking. You just run away from the wheel and let it just catch flame and begin to spin. And you can see even these three, they just abandon ship. They just jump off. And Grok, the one who you stop, he says, and he starts to move back up away from you, Grok. Are you?
No, I'm gonna grab him and I'm gonna like push him against the mast, his head with my stone gauntlet.
Oh my god.
Fuck. Oh, you know what? You know what? In this moment, he's already so, like, consigned to it. He's just like, no. And as you do, I'm just gonna say that you just fucking waste him. Splatter him in there, especially with the weight of the gauntlet there. No, not happening. They're already really squishy. So you slam into him, just the gauntlet slamming into it. You can see that as you try and take the gauntlet off of his head, there's almost this magnetism to his head and the gauntlet, as you can just see as you are crushing the life out of him between his head and the mast. The gauntlet begins to, like, glow and absorb parts of it. And as you try to withdraw, it's almost like sucking all of that life out of the head until eventually that skin and bone and muscle and fat in their face just kind of raisinizes. Like, it turns into a raisin where it's just this, like, shriveled, thickened mess of flesh and no blood. And eventually you can let go, and it's like this almost like a suction cup on a tentacle that just pops off, and you can see that there is just these small, almost like almost as if the glove is its own living creature now, like these small little feelers on the sides of it that almost look like small little, like, stingers that eventually, after a moment, after all that blood is gone, it just begins to slowly fade away and retract into the gauntlet. And Grok, you're the only one who sees this as Nalfi, and you're watching out for the others and watching out for Eurydice. But Grok, you feel good right now, and you feel like if you had been low on hit points at all, that would have done something for you.
Ooh.
Okay, so with that, the enemy seemed dealt with. Nalfian, was there something you wanted to do?
Nope. He's just gonna run, grab Eurydice, throw her over his shoulder like fireman carry style, and bounce out.
Okay.
I can run, though.
Before you
You
guys
fucking
can
late.
there, we're gonna, because Twig, you were the first one who ran. You can see the thrashing of water. You can see Izzy there. So what are you doing? Izzy, Twig, what are the two of you doing?
Am I able to see the Minotaur though?
You can, yeah. I mean, he's a big creature on the very surface of the water. You can see him pretty easily.
Well, I would like to unload some shots into him.
And
Yes.
I will look at him, channeling my arcane and cast Tasha's Mind Whip on his face.
Okay. So that is a natural 3 for 11 points of psychic damage. Does Tasha's Mind Whip do anything else?
Oh, yes, it does. It is amazing. I love this spell. So here's the spell. It cannot take reactions until the end of its next turn. And I will use that to my benefit and run my happy ass back to the ship. And also, since it failed, it can only choose to do an action, bonus action, or movement on its next turn. It can't do all. It can only do one of those.
Gotcha. All right. And then, so that's good. You lash out at it. You can see he's still grabbing onto your leg. You can see there's small pools of blood that begin to, like, leak out of his ears and out of partially of his snout. But he's still barely hanging on. Twig, go ahead and fire your shot.
Okay, and it would be Hunter's Mark as well.
Okay, yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah!
Oh my god.
There's
Oh.
more.
Joe, don't mess with this.
Holy
He's like, I'm gonna pick on the wizard with the fatty. Nope.
because the Hunter's Mark is a
Watch out.
D8, not a D6. Okay. So 15.
No. The D8's from Dread Ambush.
Oh, and the Hunter's Mark is a D6. Gotcha. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So
The Hunter's
let's-
Mark is part of the top damage. The D8 was just
God. Okay, so 13 plus 10, 23 plus 6, 29. Alrighty, so Twig, that is enough to, as you see him like beginning to pool blood out of his snout, yours, as he's grabbing onto Izzy, just trying to rip her back down into the water to try and deal damage. He is unable to, as there are two bolts that just, one slams into his head and the other one slams into his back, as he fucking lets go, and he is dead as hell. Holy shit, that is overkill. Alrighty, so he lets go. Izzy, you're able to make your way back to the ship. No crewmates seem to be approaching at this point, though. Eurydice, Nalfian, and the Shadow, you can see that the two Minotaurs are finally getting up, and they are beginning to make their way over. So at this point, Nalfian, Eurydice, if you wanted to be on the boat, you could. Rock, though, you would be just getting to the gangplank at this point.
That's fine, because I'm going to drop some fog on these dickheads.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. I put a rope on his horn. Ooh. I mean, you could try, but he is really heavy, so he's already sinking.
Yeah, I have 50 foot of rope. My plan was just to tie it to the edge of the boat. I'm not going to try to hold on to him. If it's possible. If not, then eh.
I'd say make an athletics check, and that'll determine it.
Are you sure it's not acrobatic?
I'm pretty sure it's athletics.
Yeah,
Okay.
no.
You try and wiggle the rope around his horn, but it's hard underwater, and then he just starts to sink, and you try and grab on, but you can feel yourself sinking with this horn, and it's just not enough. You don't have
Yeah,
enough muscle.
I'll just go to the boat.
Yeah, okay. So you get to the boat. Grok, you drop the fog then?
Yeah, I'll drop it just for the chat.
Okay.
and I'm absolutely paying the toll before I run away.
All right, 2d6 or 1d6?
2d6.
Hey, my
Mm.
man.
Get it?
Fucking yeah. Okay, so that is. So they run into it, and you can see Grok as you drop the fog. You can see them approach, breathing heavy, ready. Each one of their horns aimed and ready to gore you at the same time. As soon as they enter, they breathe, and each one of them, breathing in the noxious fumes, taking 9 points of damage, drop dead. Just slamming into the ground, fighting past you. Dead. So, Grok.
And
Yeah?
Grok is just going to literally, because I guess all these guys are going to see is this thick fog just emerge out onto the gangplank.
Well, the fog
Okay.
moves with you, doesn't it?
Surround you and heavily obscures an area. You and all creatures within 5 feet. See, the fog is lightly obscured. This lasts for 10 minutes. It's spread around 20.
Well, it would have been 20 feet, so it would have been... Hold on. I can tell you now. So, from there to there
Yeah,
to...
Okay. I think that it just surrounds in that moment, and then he can exit out of it. I don't think it follows.
Yeah. No, it doesn't follow me. It's where I drop it.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
so then you would emerge right out of the fog. None of you hear the Minotaur stomping after you. However, Grok, as you get to about here, you can hear the ship begin to moan, and then you can hear parts beneath the ship begin to break and snap and crack, and you feel the ship begin to shake and move as you're trying to keep your balance. You can see the gangplank begin to shake and move uncontrollably as the rest of you are able to make your way onto the ship. But Grok,
I'm going to slam my anchor into any solid part of the ship to just try and keep my footing.
okay, all right. So getting over towards the gangplank, that's fine. Once you get to the gangplank, you're afraid if you slam your anchor into the gangplank, it's gonna break it.
Can I throw a rope over to Grok?
I was just going to say the same thing.
Yeah. You now
Like,
the
as I like kind of like running over, like as I make sure like you're gonna see Twig, Izzy, everyone's back on the ship. I'm just gonna turn around to see if Grok's behind me, and like seeing he's not, like I'm sure there's rope nearby. Just
I
around.
have 50 feet like on me that I was just trying to use.
Yeah, so if you
Right.
already have it out, you can very, very easily throw it off to Grok on the other edge of the ship. Grok, you're able to catch it, and as you
I'm
do-
going to tie it to the ship. I ain't going to try to hold him. He's too big.
Okay.
The other end, I'm going to tie it to like the base if I can.
Yeah, of course. So you can very easily tie it onto the ship. Grok, as you begin to make your way across the gangplank, though, the gangplank does move and shake. So the ship, the Southern Star, begins to drop sail and take off. Catching the wind, takes off away from these two ships. The gangplank is shaken loose. Grok, you fall into the water. Luckily, you've got this rope. You're able to climb on the rope now that you are out of any type of danger. You swear that you see a shark swimming after you, but you're not going to worry about it. You're just going to get on the ship. So you eventually get on the ship, climb up the ladder. As you get there, you can see the ship behind you on each side slowly begin to break apart, snap in half, and then sink as both ships are destroyed. You can see Captain Heather Scott, Sierra Rune, Miazzo, and Miss Dre. All 4 of them now finally back on the ship as well. You can see Heather Scott has kind of a smile on his face. He's like, oh, well, I didn't exactly expect that, but I'm... All of you... Where's Grok? Where's Grok?
Oh, he's on the other end of this. Maybe we should pull him up.
Yes. Quick, everybody, every hand. Everybody makes their way over to the rope and just begins to pull up Grok until Grok, eventually, you are back up on the ship. So you begin to sail away from that ship, the 2 Horned Corsair ships, the mast broken, catching fire, and eventually sinking down into the sea. So, as all of you...
As soon as we are on the boat, whoever,
Yeah.
like the nearest guy with any Grok in his grog in his hand, Delphine's just gonna fucking take it and just thrust it into Grok's hands instead.
Okay, sounds good. So yeah, you can see that let's see, that Lamley was ready to like give one to Heather Scott, ready to hand it to him, but then you take it out of his hand. He's like, "I know it," and you hand it to Grok, and Lamley sees Heather Scott and everybody else pulling up Grok, and he says, "All right, well that's fine." And eventually, Grok, as you are pulled up, soaking wet with water, which is not bad to you, that's your preferred mode of being. You're pulled up, Nalfian comes over to you and hands you a tall tankard of grog.
Oh, fucking hell. That was alright, wasn't it? That was a bit of a laugh.
You could call it that. Well deserved, friend. And Nalfian will just like pat him on the back.
Grok is gonna down the entire mug in one thingy, like gross style, like half of it's going down his chest and be like, oh, that felt good. Listen, sorry ladies, that wasn't, I don't think that, just, part of the act, so forgive me if I come across like a bit of a bell end.
Okay. Alright, I sort of hit you as well. Really sorry,
Did you?
it seemed like things were going a little bad.
I think we had it under control the entire time. I don't know about you.
Well, at least we did it. Didn't die. So that was good.
Anyway, nice one, everyone. As Grok says that, he's gonna pocket the other bomb in his backpack.
Come in handy later.
Yeah, Captain Heather Scott sees that happen and he says, no, it's well deserved. So, what happened on your end? What'd you see? How did it all shake down?
Oh, fucking, some big blue bastard, some big fucking nana, some blue minotaur, Uncure says. I said we were going to sell Yuri and Twig. Make a deal, no beds. And then the fucking moron turned round and I say, "Oi, catch this, you big fucking nana," and he caught a bomb. Fucking moron.
It's good thinking. That's good thinking. Minotaurs are very reactive creatures, so it's a good thought on your end, Grok. And Izzy, how did the rudder chain go? I mean,
I was able to melt a lot of the gears. I destroyed it.
All right.
Can Nalfian, I don't know, insight check, Heather? Does it look like they went through some shit?
Make an insight check.
Okay. Sorry.
I mean, they don't look too bad off right now. He seems fine. He definitely has a sweat on his brow, but other than that, he doesn't seem, bruised or scratched up. He doesn't look any worse than you guys do. I mean, you guys didn't take any damage either.
Okay. It's interesting.
Well, nice.
Technically,
Technically, Rock looks a little paler than normal right now. Well, I definitely think that sort of looking over the edge of the ship, seeing the state of the ship that you guys handled, well, it definitely seems like we had different approaches, but a sunken ship is a sunken ship, that's for sure. Well, I say that tonight, Lamley, if it's all right with you, I say tonight we get into the good stuff, because we're going to be in port soon to restock, and I think that they've earned it. Huh? What does everybody else think? Gesturing to the rest of the crew, and you can see that there is a very hearty, yes please, from the rest of the crew. Yes please! And you hear Alo, like some of the good stuff? And Heather is like, no, Alo, no, you're not old enough just yet. Maybe a few more years on board, and then you'll be old enough to have some. No need sitting around. I think that, hopefully, fingers crossed at least, hopefully, this will be the last thing we have to deal with before we're finally in Raven. Emily, you heard me. Go get the good stuff. Nikki, Dre, help him out. He smiles, and he turns and he heads back towards his captain's quarter, the door open, not shutting it. And you can see Sierra Rune make her way with him. And with that, over the course of about 15 minutes, eventually there are barrels taken up on the deck, and you can hear people start to sing their sea shanties, and crack open the barrels and begin to fill the mugs. So anybody who wants to get something to drink, there is plenty of good scotch, good bourbon, even some like nice rum, even in these barrels. So drinks are yours, and all of you are alive. So, what you doing now that you're on the ship? Seems as though everything's fine.
He's gonna take a minute rather than instantly drinking because oh my god, that was scary as fuck. She's probably kind of rubbing at her neck where Nalfion had the dagger as well because she was a bit freaked out.
Grok is going to be singing sea shanties and getting absolutely shit-faced.
Yeah.
You know what? Izzy is also going to relax and just for tonight because we did something crazy and she thought it was going to end up bad. She's going to try to learn some sea shanties from Grok and drink with him.
Aww.
Nalfin's gonna make sure Grok's drink never goes empty.
Tree's gonna note out of that if there's gonna be a bunch of rowdy people. Stay away from that area.
Kind of vibe with Eurydice.
Okay, so Eurydice gets one drink and kind of goes back to the room, and then you can see Twig kind of following after Eurydice and heading back into their room. But the rest of you stay above. Grok, over the course of the rest of the day, you have a few conversations with Izzy. So is there any sea shanty you'd like to try and teach her in particular? Off the top of your head?
Sure. I'd be telling Izzy, I don't know if this world has kind of like a version of Ireland, but it'll be like an Irish one.
Oh, yeah.
Aw.
And it will be the Fiddler's Green.
Fiddler's Green.
Okay. I wish I had that one ready on the on the playlist. But so even though Grok gets a little harder to understand as the night goes on, because it's just there's a lot happening, and now
wrap me up in me oilskin and jumper. No more on the docks I'll be seen. Just tell me, old shipmates, I'm taking a trip, mates, and I'll see you someday in Fiddler's Green.
5-star.
And you can even see Willow and Lamley and Mackie. So some of these people, especially Lamley, who's been pretty aggressive and down on himself and very angry looking. Even he kind of cheers up hearing that song, and him and Grok are like harmonizing together. Not well, but they are harmonizing together. And they're just having a good time. And along with Willow, who you can tell is a very talented singer, but it's odd hearing a talented singer with like 5 people who aren't, because the talented singer sounds like the bad one. So Willow sounds like not a good singer compared to everybody else, even though you can recognize that he is good. But people are enjoying themselves, laughing, joking, singing together, and drinking together especially. So with that, does anybody have anything else specific they'd like to do above while drinking?
I sent Lizzie to vibe with Twig because I know Twig likes animals.
Okay, all right. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and kind of now below deck. I get a nice little. Can somebody put a match cut in there for me? All right. as we transition from the drinking and merriment to the quietness, following sort of Lizzie's point of view as she's flying around and then going down below deck and eventually going into the room where Eurydice and Twig are. So, Eurydice, Twig were the. I know that Eurydice, you sent something in the chat there asking if.
She was,
Ooh,
she was
what
gonna
is
check
that?
the Twig's okay, and then when she knows the Twig is okay, go and kind of vibe at the top of the ship, but like at the back, away from everyone. So she's still kind of up in the open air, but not if everybody being really loud and boisterous. Yeah, first she's gonna say to Twig, "Are you okay? That was a lot."
It was, but we're here now, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, it was just sometimes experiences can leave a bit of a mark on people, so just checking.
Well, I guess. But I think it went well, all things considered. I think fate was certainly looking out for us, at least this time.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
Are you going to go back up there?
I prefer to not be in small confined spaces. So, I think I'm going to go and find a place at the back of the ship. It's a bit less loud, and there's a bit less people. Still open.
I feel like with how rowdy people can get, that might be a little difficult.
Well, I'll try as long as I can, and you'll probably see me back down here fairly soon.
I count on it.
Anyway, you've got your book, so you'll probably be able to try and tune out because I know we're below deck, but they're pretty loud, and it's like there isn't much of a difference in the noise level.
Well, it's certainly better. And they're not exactly clamoring around in here either.
That's very true. If you're okay, I'll leave you to hang out with Lizzie for a bit.
Lizzie.
Imagine Twig's also like quite fascinated because like it's not anything she's used to.
Definitely a far cry from a bunny. Lizzie kind of flies around you, sort of just like scratching into your shoulder a little bit, just kind of playfully, like a cat kneading, you know.
Can I use speak with animals with Lizzie?
Oh
Does
my
that
God.
count?
Drop speak with animals in the chat. Any beasts? Beasts can give you. Well. Oh, you know what? Actually, so you try and cast Speak with Animals, and I'll say that Speak with Animals can buy. You know Draconic, right?
I don't know.
No, you don't. Oh, I must have. Oh no, that was because you were trying to teach Izzy Dwarvish. That's what it was. Okay.
And
My
Izzy
mistake.
speaks Draconic.
That's okay. That there we go. That checks out. Those lines check out. So, I'll say Twig, as you're casting it, I'll say that you can get maybe like you gather like one word answers. So if you were to ask Izzy a question, you would kind of get like one worded answer. So as you cast the spell, you can kind of focus in on the growls and hisses and merps that she makes, and you can sort of gather a little bit. So like when you first cast it, you can kind of hear a very muffled. Who did that not pick up?
Hello. I hear you now. I think you cut out. I don't know.
Just a little hello.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Oh, hello?
Hello.
Hello? I've never really seen anything like you.
Different.
Where do you come from? Yeah, different.
Away.
away? Like a different continent?
Yes, no?
Well, it can't be both. Is that a yes or is that a no?
Are you saying anything because I can't hear?
Nope.
Oh. So you don't know where you came from then?
I know.
But you won't tell me?
I didn't catch that.
I tell you.
But you haven't, though.
Found in trees.
Well, there's trees everywhere. But it's okay if you don't want to talk about it that much. I think I understand that.
Found in trees. From different place.
Well, maybe I'll ask Izzy about it. If you don't have the words for it.
See her kind of do like a twirl and a spin, and then go back to resting, kind of flying right in front of your face.
Just gonna vibe. Have small talk with a pseudo dragon.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Hang out
Very
there.
with it.
Try and like learn what she cared about pseudo dragons, just like asking like random things like, what do you eat?
Yeah, you gain a little bit of knowledge. Yeah, there we go. Like a little baby dragon.
Little Bubby.
Very sweet, very vibant. So yeah, you hang out with Izzy a little bit, or Lizzie a little bit. Get to know her a little bit. It's good. It's good stuff. So we're gonna hop back up above deck real quick, and you're ready to see you kind of made your way up and then to the stern of the ship, the very back end. And the noise here is different. You can hear, you still can hear the sea shanties, the people all singing together on the very end. But being this far back, you still get a lot of the ocean noises, and everything is a little bit less dull, or everything is more dull, or you can more be trapped in your own thoughts. However, as you are sitting up there, and Nalfian and Grok and Izzy, you all can see this, where there is one person in particular who none of you have really met much so far. Mackie, who's the head gunner. You can see that Lamley, the quartermaster, keeps talking towards him and is like, "Come on, just have one drink. I know how bad you want to. Just please have one drink." And you can see Lamley is gone, and Gunner Mackie, you can see is maybe a dwarf in his 30s or 40s. He, should everyone, you can see him. He definitely is quite the individual, quite the pirate. At least looking the part, at least. And he says, "No, I'm not gonna." And people keep shouting at him to have a drink, and he's like, "No, I'm." And he kind of gives up in arguing and just kind of makes his way back towards where you are, Eurydice. And he sort of walks up the steps and sees you standing on the bow, or on the stern, and he says, "Please tell me you're not gonna tell me to drink."
Not if you don't want me to.
"Good. Please don't ask me to." And he makes his way over towards where you are and just puts his hands on the railing and then looks over the edge.
Not much of a drinker.
Nope. Not much at all.
It's fair enough. I'm not either. I mean, I drink sometimes, but I don't understand how they just burst into song and dance and partying after something like that.
Oh, you know. I think that it distracts them. You know. They feel good because they won, but nobody ever realizes how close they are to death. I hate to be macabre about it, but
It's okay.
I mean, I've spent my entire life on ships. I know how one hole can send an entire ship underwater, especially if it's a poorly constructed ship. They never know how close they are. I don't blame them for drinking. If they want to, that's their own thing. I don't know. Why can't we sing and dance and joke while not being absolutely wasted out of our minds?
Maybe it's harder to sing and dance and joke when they're fully in the right mind. I mean, if you're fully in the right mind, you'd be thinking about all the things that just happened. You'd be distracted and they would keep cropping up. But I guess being drunk just helps you move past it and focus on something else. But I don't think I want to just move past it, so I'm happy with just my one drink and that's it.
Well, if I can offer one piece of advice, not that you're looking for it at all, but just one thing that I've learned is don't get too hung up on it. It only hurts more than it helps. If you can find a way to enjoy life and sing and dance after terrible shit like that, then do it. But if you do end up like that big one over there, gesturing towards Croc, I guess I don't blame you. I mean, half those tattoos that he has on him, you don't get those unless you've seen some fucked up shit.
Furrows her eyebrows a little bit. Okay. I think I'm... You know what, okay. Just gonna take a really deep breath. For her mouth, hold it. For her nose, hold it out for her mouth. Okay. See you soon. And she heads down the steps. And, she's gonna shout. Alfian!
Nelfion's like in the middle of like dancing on the table, singing a song. But as soon, I mean, if you're close enough, he'll just kind of like look over and he'll be like, carry the tune without me. I'll jump back in and take my part. All right. Anyone the tenor here? You? Okay, great. And then he'll like stumble over to her.
How drunk are you?
Right as rain.
Alright, well. Just gonna extend a hand to him, kind of like how he extended a hand to her at the tavern the first time they danced. If you're not too drunk, do you like to dance?
Never too drunk to dance, love. Come on. And he will take her hand. And attempt to dance.
Yeah.
So, now Finn, you are a very talented dancer, so I would like you to make a performance check. It's only because you're drunk right now. You're just going to try and trip you up. But if you weren't drunk, this wouldn't be an issue. But because you're pretty far gone, this is a little just to make sure you can keep time.
I roll as well.
No, you're fine. There's no stress here right now.
Okay.
Okay. You're gonna see it's the two of you are dancing together. You can tell that Malthian is a good dancer, but he's definitely wasted right now. Where he's able to keep time, but there are a few times where he maybe steps on your toes a little bit. But that's few and far between. It's nothing too bad. Just sometimes it's a little spotty. But other than that, he is a pretty good dancer.
Okay.
So eventually, you can see other people dancing eventually begin to move and separate until they're just sort of stomping on the ground or clapping their hands to the song as it's being sung as the two of you are dancing and jigging together. And people are definitely enjoying the show, as Nalfian is. Nalfian is a good dancer. Eurydice, you are a good dancer as well. So the two of you combined, it is quite the show. And you're enjoying each other's company until eventually the song does fade a little bit and it stops. The two of you stop, and there is a there is a round of applause from everybody, and they say, "Oh, that was good, good," just shouting and enjoying the performance.
Yeah, Nalfian will like raise his and Yuri's hand like they just won a fucking dance contest.
Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars, yeah.
Okay, so the two of you finish your dance, and then sort of standing there. Eventually, the crowd does reform a little bit as the entire crew is above deck right now, except for Alo, Sally, Maki, and Miatso. But everybody else is there. Even Leah, who is rather antisocial. You can see she's gotten a few drinks in her. Is arm wrestling Lamley right now as they're like just in a whirlwind of pain right now, shouting at each other. You can see Lamley's like, "Oh, I'm not taking me out, little one. I've been on this ship longer than you've been alive." And Leah's like, No, you're going down, old man. Out with the old, in with the new, and like yelling back at each other as they're trying to arm wrestle. Eventually, let's see. Leah's, ooh, that's a 3, and Lamley's, that's a 5. Okay, so Lamley does beat her and say, "Ha! Told ya, it's just stay." And Leah says, "Oh, whatever," and eventually gets up and walks away and gets more to drink. But as that's happening, Eurydice, Nalfian, you guys just finished your dance. People clapped, and the circle's reformed.
She says that.
I think you're looking at the best dancer in the world. Don't forget it. And like, you could just smell the alcohol in his breath when he says that in your face.
Prestidigitation. The arms up around his neck, just one of the hands kind of waves a little bit. Well, I don't blame you for getting too drunk, but I would say you're the best dancer. That goes to me. At least this once.
Dolphin's gonna like narrow his eyes a little bit, kind of like looking at her. And he's just gonna laugh and not say anything. And they're just gonna dance. A friendly dance. Fox says.
And they dance? Where's Nalfian's hands right now?
His hands are very respectful, ma'am. I think his hands are just like around her waist.
Okay, they're having a friendly dance.
There's no room for Jesus, but it's a friendly dance.
Jesus isn't a part of this friend group.
Come on, guys, leave room for Paylor, all right?
Fucking Lotus walks up to her.
Okay. So,
Can I tattoo Grog?
do you have a tattoo?
I can summon one.
If Grok is consenting, you can certainly try to.
He's consent.
Yeah. Want to change fuck to duck and then do like a little outline of a duck underneath it.
All right. Go
I've been
ahead.
drinking.
Yeah.
He said yes. We've been talking about it in the chat.
Oh yeah. I guess whenever you can't. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Okay. So go ahead and make a. We'll say just a basic dexterity check with disadvantage.
Gotcha. Before I start tattooing, though, can I ask one of the pirates if they have any ink? Because I'm sure they do. Oh wait, I have ink. Never mind. I will pull the ink out of my own stuff and do it. I have a
All
little
right,
vial of ink.
got some black ink there.
Okay, and you said a dexterity check and what?
With disadvantage.
Sorry, Grok.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't suppose prestidigitating the outline and tracing it would help me at all.
That would have been a great thing to say before you started. You had that
Yeah.
idea after you finished. You know what? To you, that looks like it says duck, and that looks like an outline of a duck underneath.
No.
Okay.
Everybody else is a little too far gone to double check, but you show a couple people, and Lemley's like, "Oh, is that a duck?" And kind of moves away. Yeah. For anybody who's intoxicated, that looks like a duck with a small drawing of a duck underneath.
Did see glances over? It's just a fucking gecko.
Eurydice, you see them tattooing, and you eventually sort of break away to get it on the drink, moving away from Nalfian. And as you walk past, you're still sober. I'm gonna whisper to you what it actually looks like.
Oh yeah. I'm not telling anyone.
Oh no!
Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm sorry, Jamie.
You done
Grok
fucked up,
doesn't
boy.
give a shit.
I can imagine he doesn't.
If needed, I can burn it off and redo it.
You can also the sort of thing is tattooing it over something, my guy.
So, Eurydice, as you look there, you can see. Do you say anything?
They're both drunk, great.
Alright, you move on fast. You go get your
He just
drink.
raises their hands and just walks away.
Alright, sounds good. So, Grok, you've got a new tattoo that says duck with a little duck underneath, and it looks so cute to you.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, you continue to drink. Is anybody else doing anything in particular over this night of festivities?
Nah, Grok's just gonna keep drinking and then faceplant at his bed eventually when he's about to pass out.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Izzy's got nothing else to do. She probably more of a lightweight. I mean, she's got a high constitution, but she doesn't do this very often, so she'll probably take her wobbly legs down to the room and crash out.
Okay. Alright. Sounds good to me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
make sure now he gets to his bed without fucking falling down the stairs.
very appreciated. Yeah, they'll just dance until he just literally looks like he's about to pass out, and he'll just let Yuri take him and drop him off.
Okay, sounds good. Alrighty.
Not yet.
Eventually, all of you resign for the night. I will say, before all of you do head to bed, Twig, as you are in the room just kind of hanging out with Lizzie, before Eurydice and Izzy get there is someone who comes to the side of the door and knocks on the side of it. And this is somebody that you haven't had any conversations with yet. And it's they're the most interesting looking person on the ship, because this person is a sort of almost a combination of the both, but almost a bronze and red dragonborn, where their jaw and chest and parts of their arms are bronze colored, but their scales are red. So this is Miatso. So they make their way over, and they approach you, Twig, and they knock on the door. Well, they don't approach you, they knock on the door first. And they say, "Excuse me, might we talk for just a moment?"
I'm
Okay.
just gonna kind of like move away from Lizzie and just open the door.
The pseudo-dragon that is typically around Easy, correct?
Yes.
And you see him whisper a few things in the air. And Izzy kind of makes a few noises in response. He says,
"Very interesting indeed. She likes you quite a bit."
As he kind of swirls around the room and flies next to you and then rests on your shoulder. And Miatso makes his way in and he says,
"Do you mind if I sit?"
Sure. Is there something I can help you with? I mean, most people are up on deck.
Yes, they are. You are interesting to Miatso. I have noticed over the time you've been here, you have an aura to you. You see, Miatso grew up in Loshar. I grew up around monks and those who focus on looking past the physical realm and looking into what is spiritual. And you seem different. So does Nalfian, but I fear to ask him what auras he has and where they came from.
Well,
But
what's
you-
wrong with Nalfian's aura? It doesn't mean anything bad.
No, provided he can keep control of it, it will
And if he
do
can't?
nothing but protect him.
Do you know what happens if he can't keep control?
Sadly, I do not. All I know is energies and essences. I can see that it is chaotic and dark, but chaos and darkness can be used as a tool, same as light and law. But I do not wish to talk about Alfie. I wish to know more about you, if it is all right.
Oh, well, it depends on what you want to know.
Mietzo has met others with energies like you. Those who, although they seem to cling to shadow and darkness, they are anything but. But they have always been from a place of darkness or evil. They want to be the person that stands against it. You, however, do not take me as someone from places of darkness or evil.
No.
You do know of the abilities you have, correct?
Yes, I suppose so.
fact that, well, I'm sure that recently, given that you are a human, sometime recently you learned you could see dark.
I might have noticed.
And that while in the darkness, some have a harder time seeing you at all.
I'm sorry, do you have a point here?
Just. As I said, I study energies and people. It is what I am good at. I only ask because I am confused. Miyazo has studied many people and learned many things about many, many types. But you, different than the others Miyazo has met. You are strange. And Miyazo does not mean that in a bad way. In fact, as Miyazo has found, some of the strangest people are the most interesting and the best to surround yourself with. In fact, many could hear the words Miyazo is saying and assume that Miyazo is strange.
Oh, well, I can see why most people don't refer to themselves in third person, at least.
It was a trick the monks taught. In order to think about others before myself, I must make myself less. You see, and he sort of gestures up his arms and shows his scales. I am, by all signs of fate and destiny, I should be a creature. Miyazo should be a creature. Red Dragonborn tend to be the most vain and the most greedy. And Miyazo wanted to learn to not. So, in order for Miyazo to learn to not care about Miyazo, Miyazo must not care about or me. Miyazo is just another person.
But in doing so, are you not quite literally putting yourself before everything you say?
I
I mean, in
suppose
most instances, that would be drawing attention to it.
it is one way to look at it. But you must not think of things so one-sided. There are many different sides to any argument you can make. Believe me, when I was studying with the monks, they had Miyazo argue many different things. Some things Miyazo did not agree with. Although my name may draw attention to myself, the way I see it is I'm treating myself the same way that I treat other people. It puts things into perspective.
Well, I guess that could also be true.
But I do not wish to talk about me, as I have spent my life trying to avoid myself. I focused everything on other people. And my question was just, how did you learn these things? What exactly allowed you to be this way?
Well, the same way anyone learns anything about anything, I guess.
That makes sense for the way you wield a crossbow, or the languages you speak, but to go against everything that you are supposed to be, to see in the dark, and to vanish in the night.
Well, I don't think anyone can really say what they are meant to be, so I don't see it as really being a contradiction.
suppose you are right.
I mean, no one can exactly claim to know anything about fate, and I feel like the more certain you are in saying that you do, it's just, well, tempting for something to go wrong.
There is a saying that I tend to agree with most times. It is that the wheel weaves as the weave wills, saying that the forces of magic and life bind us all together, will continue to forge ahead of its own accord, paying no mind to those around us. But there are those that cause the weave to bend and change shape. I never learned how to identify those people, to see that aura around them. But they are out there. Not people who change fate, but people that seem to have fate bent around them. If you understand Miyatsu's meaning.
I think I do.
Well, although I have learned nothing about you, I have learned many, many, many things about you. It is good to know that there are other like-minded individuals on this ship.
Right. Well, I was meant to meet Eurydice up on deck, so I think I'll leave now. And well, you should get out too.
Of course, I did not mean to overstay my welcome. And Miyatsu stands and he says, if you ever find yourself needing to talk to someone, I have a feeling Miyatsu has a feeling that Sally might be a person for you to talk to. Her and you seem to have a similar affinity for nature, and she is, if not as interesting and weird as you, or as Miyatsu. Kind of makes his way out. And he walks a little bit in the same path as you until eventually he gets to his door. And he says, Twig, if I might say one more thing before you head above deck.
Yes?
Oh.
No, have I cut out?
No, sorry. No, you're good. That was me
Okay.
taking that applause.
Oh, a little bit of panic.
I hope that whatever has gifted you these things, and they are a gift to be sure, I hope that you discover what it is, as uncertainty in life can cause many questions and much heartache. And he kind of nods his head and then opens up his door and heads into his cabin and then shuts the door behind him.
She kind of like considers just going back to her room, but she doesn't know if that's going to be sus or not, so she will actually join Eurydice on deck.
Okay. So as you go to make your way up to the top of the deck, you can see that Eurydice is currently in the center of a circle of people dancing with Malthian. Eventually, the people start to combine together. The circle fades away, and you can see that there are so many people up here, all singing, drinking. There's grog and other alcohol splashing onto the deck.
and pretty much everybody who's a part of the crew, aside from Miazzo, Gunnar Mackey, and then the 2 children, you can see all of them are up here. So Sierra Rune, Captain Heather Scott, everybody's up here. And not gonna lie, you are a little overwhelmed just with stimulus right now. Yeah, you can clock that Yuri does look fairly happy. But it's up to you whether you stay up here with everything. You'd have to go through quite a thick crowd of people in order to get to Eurydice. But that's up to you.
Yeah, no, she's very much just using that as like a little getaway. So she's just seeing all this, just pause for a minute, just like, heel turn 180, and just go back to sleep.
Heading back down underneath the stairs. And eventually back to your cabin, shutting the door quietly. Until eventually you resign to sleep. So, with that, Twig heads to sleep until eventually all of the intoxicated people also head off to bed. Night falls. You all get restful sleep. You awake the next morning, and this is your last morning on board, on ship. So tomorrow morning you should be arriving in Raven Rock. So, does anybody have anything in particular they'd like to do on this last day, or are you guys just getting through it so that way you can wake up the next morning and be in Raven Rock?
Nalfian's good. I mean, I think he would just spend the day, like, checking in on Grok to make sure he's doing okay after everything. Check in on Twig and Eurydice. I mean, they were slaves for a day. And I was gonna trade it up just to kind of, like, check in to see if they're doing okay, but other than that, no.
Yeah, Eurydice would have considered talking to Grok about his pirate tattoos, but he seems fairly hungover, so she is going to leave him be.
Twig's gonna be like, she wants to like scope out who this Sally chick is. She's not gonna like go up to her directly or anything, but just try and like, observe her like at a distance.
Okay, alright.
Just get a general vibe check.
And Izzy would honestly just get caught up by Lizzie. And then probably work on trying to learn more Dwarvish on her own with the notes provided to her from Twig.
Okay, yeah, sure, sounds good. Okay, cool. So, yeah, how wasted is Grok, just so we can have a good understanding of that.
I mean, Grok probably would have went to bed as the sun was coming up, so he's fucked.
Yeah, him and
How
Langley
many
were going pretty
Constitution
hard.
saves did he fail?
It's like, honestly, I don't think Grok needs to make con saves. I think that it's just true fact that he drank so much that he passed out. And he is a very resolute drinker, so I think that he'd probably be able to keep it going for quite some time. Okay. So, that means that, let's see. So, let's see. For Twig, as you are just kind of, as things have settled down above deck, you are able to get kind of an idea, and waking up early in the morning, you do wake up early enough to see Sally make her way, like, towards the crow's nest and make her way up. And you can see that almost as soon as she gets up there is, maybe 7 or 8 seagulls that, whether they'd been somewhere else on the ship or just kind of coasting towards the crow's nest, flying past, they decide to settle down on the crow's nest. And they just kind of sit up there with her. And you don't watch for too long, obviously. But you do watch for long enough to know that those crows really don't move almost at all from that area, Like, they are very not crows. Those seagulls, they seem very content to not really move at all. Just hanging out up there. You do notice, given your passive perception, that there is another. You can see that as she's making her way, Sally is making her way up to the crow's nest. You can see that right before she's about to climb the ladder, you can see Ilo, a young boy who you hadn't yet talked to, Elvish, make their way like up to the mast, and they just go to start to say something, and they say, and as they start to speak, Sally, like partially climbing up, sort of looks back, and you can see her just sort of looking down at Alo, and she just says, "Yeah?" And he says, "You are doing a great job up in the crow's nest." And Sally kind of looks down and like cocks her head, and she says, "Thank you." She says, "You got it, dude." Gives her a thumbs up. And she just kind of turns back to face the ladder, and she just kind of stops there for a moment, and then continues to climb up the ladder until eventually she's up top. And once she's all the way fully up there, he looks up and looks back down, and you see him very calmly turn around and begin to walk over towards the stairs, walk up until he's eventually on the raised platform, look back up at the crow's nest, and then just grab the railing and hurl over the side of the railing. Just breathing super heavy. And you see him kind of like look around in disbelief, and then like do like that fist pump in the air, like.
Oh my god, yes.
And then like Twig, as you're kind of watching him, he makes eye contact with you, and he goes, and he kind of like runs down the stairs and then past you, like below deck. It's like, you didn't see anything. Just scatters back down below deck.
Oh my god.
My heart.
Buddy.
Oh.
So, Twig, you see her up there. You saw that happen. But the seagulls are hanging out up there, and the seagulls seem to be having a good time. So, do you want to do anything based off that, Gemma? Or, Twig, or are you just kind of noting that and then heading back down to your room? Gemma? Oh, okay, I guess we lost her. Okay.
She got a knock on her door.
Oh, okay, sorry. Missed that. Okay,
Oh,
so,
okay.
then I guess from there, let's see.
Sorry for something.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. So then, Izzy, you are able to practice just a little bit more, and it definitely does help. So we'll say that is another. Let's see. Oh jeez, I forget what I had said before for keeping track of it, because that would just be another day of practice.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. I'm sure I put it in my notes. I think I was only on like 2 days.
Yeah. So we'll say that because you're spending the entire day, we'll say that that's 4 days technically. Yes. So take that, learn or you get 2 more days, and there we go. Brock, you take your time. Brock, the only thing that's going on for you during the day is you sort of look down and look at your tattoo.
Oh.
And it doesn't say duck. And that's not a drawing of a duck. It says suck. It looks like it's a little drawing of like a little like misshapen penis.
No. No.
Nah.
Poor guy. Look, big everything.
Perfect.
Grok could probably like look at his arm and just go.
Alrighty. So, Grok, you admire your new ink, and okay. So you're going to see. Then you spend a little bit more time with Jorah, practicing. Let's see, was it Elvish and Dwarvish, and he definitely does appreciate it, as well as practicing like reading your own tome a little bit. And you can see that he's able to have about 3 different conversations at once, fluently going from those different languages. So speaking to you in Elvish, then to Lotus in Celestial, and even getting Mackie to speak in Dwarvish, and able to keep all 3 of them separate, making sure to keep all of the dialects very clean, very concise. I mean, he is very, very, very intelligent. Able to use all of those different languages seemingly flawlessly. So that is something interesting to note for sure.
Okay.
So, then, Nalfian, was there anything in particular you needed to do?
Nope.
Okay.
Finding a spot to do his training.
Alright, so yeah, you can easily enough practice above deck. And with that, the day comes to a close, and right at that night, Captain Heather Scott calls you into his captain's quarters. Less aggressive or strenuous than before, just passively asked you all to come in, and he says, alright, so we're going to be in Raven Rock tomorrow morning. Now, when all of you get there, like I said, myself, Sirarun, and Miatso are going to be dealing with some things. Once we head to Tarkurian waters, there are a few bounties there that, from a younger life, that I need to get rid of. Easy enough, though. Should be able to push enough coin or grease enough palms, so we won't have to deal with that. You 4 or you 5, you can do whatever you need to do in the meantime. I'm willing to stay port in Raven Rock for as long as we need to. So take your time, get done what you need to do, and I'm sure we can find some odd jobs in the meantime to pay for the port time. All right?
Sounds good to me.
All right. So he smiles, and unless anybody has any questions, you depart from the room. And with that, you all head to bed for the night, and the sun is rising as all of you wake up. You can hear Sally ring her bell, ring, 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 3 times, signaling land ho.
Yeah.
So as you look over the side, eventually waking up, gathering all your supplies, you can see in the distance land. Not just a little bit of land, but you look over and you can see sprawling city, bigger than any of you, aside from Nalfian and Brock here, have ever seen. Absolutely huge. It's almost terrifying how large it is. So, you look at the city, you smile knowing that there are great horizons waiting for you when you finally dock in Raven Rock. But, we are going to have to wait for that until next week, because that is where we're going to end tonight's session. So,
Yay!
yay indeed. So that's where we're going to go ahead and end tonight. Just a few things before we go. So next week, when we tune in, provided we're able to get everything set up, we should be on a new program. So instead of being on Roll20, we're going to be on the Virtual Tabletop Foundry, which if you've ever seen about it or read about it, it's very cool, very, very awesome. So they're actually going to be able to, don't be fancy, yeah. They're actually going to be able to explore the city of Raven Rock. So I'm going to give them a party token, or maybe like separate party tokens. They can split up if they want to. And they're going to be able to find whatever they want to find. And actually explore a city that either they haven't been to, or some of them haven't been in a pretty long time. The only other thing that I want to say is that now that the channel is starting to get a little larger, and we are trying to do some bigger and better things, like by, I think, the Athera or Isles on Saturday, I think I'm actually going to have different chat icons for them, where it'll be some character art that will actually light up and go dark whenever they speak. I'm going to try and get that figured out. But in an effort to be able to do these bigger, better things, the sad part about them is sometimes they can be, they do have some cost associated with them. And this is not at all necessary. There's no, like, really special access to anything that you're not already participating in. One thing that I did just create the other day is a Patreon account for the Roll with Advantage channel. So pretty much what any of that money would go to would be towards paying like monthly subscriptions, whether that be for the Virtual Tabletop Foundry or D&D Beyond, or my shop that I use to make like the graphic assets or anything like that. That's what that would be going towards. And then any surplus after that would be going towards getting new mics and maybe one day webcams, if that's even something we feel like we need. I don't know. I feel like the light up figures for the party would be good enough, because I think that's really cool. And just upgrading everybody's equipment so that way everybody sounds nice and looks nice. Since everybody's already so perf, I want them to be able to be heard regardless of where they're speaking. So that is that. And if that's something you'd love to do, then I would be more than happy to have you there. And there are a few things, but those are outlined on the Patreon account. And only if you want to. Like I said, nothing is going to be cut off from you if you don't. Everything will stay the same. There are just things that I'm adding on for people who decide to be patrons. But that is that. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back actually tomorrow with a one-on-one shot between me and good old Poe from the Salamander Coast. Just me and him, some NPCs, and it's gonna be wild. And maybe next Saturday for the Isles of Iverion, and then on Friday the Explorers of Athera. There's a lot of D&D. That's all I'm trying to say. So please follow, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, maybe, or on Tuesday, or on Friday, or Saturday, whatever. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it may be for you. Alrighty, farewell, goodbye.